we're making another video!
Woo!
Yay!
So this video is going to be, as you can see in the title, it's cosmetology school advice.
Yes, we both went to cosmetology school. We took the day program and it was full-time, so it only took us a year.
It was from 8 to 4:30 every day, Monday through Friday. Very tough, but completely worth it. We loved it.
So we're not going to say the exact school because we actually went to a community school instead of like Paul Mitchell or
like a community college.
Yeah. So we're not going to say that just for some like safety reasons. But I'm just going to assume that most cosmetology schools are hopefully the same because we did go to a good school. It was really strict and they were just so focused on, you know, getting us out of there and getting us started with our career. So we're just going to give you some tips and some advice.
They're not in any particular order. We just made a list of like what we want to talk about and tell you about, and hopefully give you guys who are in cosmetology school or who are about to start cosmetology school some advice that we
experienced, and it would have been nice to know us that, but it's all a learning experience.
Cosmetology is so fun. It's just fun. All right.
So anyway,
let's get started.
Yay.
Number 1 is be prepared.
Yes. So
that is extremely important when you're in cosmetology school. You have to make sure you have all your equipment, all your supplies. You have to make sure that if you have a dress code, that you're with the dress. It's just extremely important to always be prepared. How
our school is that we got 3 absences every class. So our classes went, A through E. So A was the starting point and E was the ending. So you get 3 absences every single semester. So they would clock you out for using your phone. If you weren't prepared, they would clock you out. So you want to make sure like you know like what you need for that specific day so that you're prepared. Yeah, usually your teachers will give you a calendar and say what they're doing that day. But if your teacher is a little cray-cray like we had, she would just be like, "Oh, we're going to change it up. Let's do this." If you didn't drive and you got dropped off, that is the number 1 thing that you'd get clocked out for. And it wasn't technically your fault because your teacher just sprung it on you. But it's always to be prepared and have extra stuff in your kit because you never really know what you're going to fully do that day because your teacher just might spring on something crazy. Yeah, so I always had everything in my car. For a long time I drove her, so we literally would just leave both of our stuff inside my car. It was literally packed. Yeah, we lived out of my car. And then I started finally driving, and then... So just like always make sure you have everything because you, like she said, you never know. Next. Don't be late. For us, like if you were late, it was a tardy. Tardy, and then it would go towards. So 3 tardies or 3 leave earlies would equal 1 absence. So you could only technically get 9 absences or 9 leave earlies in the whole semester if you wanted to not fail the semester. Yeah. So don't be late. Don't be late. We were always there early because we wanted a front row parking spot because we had a lot of crap to load. We were there. So you would either be like really lucky and get a front row parking, or you had to park across the street. So we always get there super early. We'd get there, chill inside of our cars. We'd get there like an hour early, and we would take naps. We'd do our makeup in the car. We would literally just sit there, listen to music, and talk. And this exactly brings me to my next point, is make some friends. Because so if you get there an hour early, you have somebody to talk to. But the main thing is when I say make friends, make positive, influential people in your life, in your class that don't do drama or don't have any affiliation with drama, who aren't going to get you in trouble, aren't going to put you down, who are always lifting you up, always helping you, because we knew each other before cosmetology. Like, we've known each other since preschool. You could see that in our Get to Know Us video, just whatever. But we were already friends, and so when we got put in the same class, which is a long story, but it was like awesome because
we helped each other. We turned to each other for advice, and it was just so awesome. And we made other friends who we still are friends with today, and it was literally awesome.
Yeah, and I was telling her earlier, like cosmetology friends, I feel like are completely different from like friends you would make in high school because this is your career. So you guys have that in common, and so going throughout your career, you're gonna stay friends. Hopefully, if they're good friends. And it's just different. So like,
and they know what you go through. Like if you tell them about a client in a salon and she had some bleach blonde hair and she wanted to go from black to bleach blonde or blonde to black,
she's
like
gonna relax and
they
she wants to get a perm.
They legit know what you're talking about, and other friends will be like, I don't get it. But they're like, oh damn, like you could have done this and like that, and like it's just peaceful. Let me tell you.
The next one is practice.
Practice.
Always want to practice. They tell you in the beginning, like, make sure, like, you're practicing at home. But, we would have client days, and that was our times to practice, because we had to get a certain amount of, what were they called?
Certain amount of, operations.
Operations.
Hands-on operations.
And so that was kind of our practice. Like, so we would practice, like, wrapping perms, or coloring, cutting, hairstyles, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's also good to have, like, friends in your family, like, oh, can I practice, like, a blowout on you? Can I practice a certain curl pattern or something like that, you know? It's always to have, that's why I said make some friends, you know, like, oh, hey, can you practice, like, curling my hair and setting it a certain way, or, you know, something like that, like, oh, can I practice a manicure or acrylic on you or something, you know? So it's always good to practice. So our next one is, they could go together, is do all your written work and study.
Yeah.
So in our school we had a theory book and a practical book. And they were like workbooks with our textbook. So when they tell you to do that homework, do the homework.
Yes. I was really good at this in the beginning. Towards the end I didn't
turn
in anything.
You do part of it, I do part of it.
Nobody turned in anything.
Copy.
I know when we were in E, like, there was a point when I just didn't turn in anything. And it, like, really affects it because it's so easy. Like, it's just like being in high school. Like, homework is something so easy. It's just an easy grade.
It was literally in the book. You just had to copy the sentences down.
Just not
and
easy.
Honestly, what was in your, like, textbook and the written book was in the test. If you were to do the homework,
like word for word. Like, sometimes it was, like,
easy.
exactly what it would say. So always do your homework because it's an easy grade and study. So, yeah. The next one is be organized. It's really important being a cosmetologist, and especially when you're in school because you just have all that stuff. So, you're supposed to, at least, at our school, you're supposed to have everything labeled. Even inside the salon, everything has to be labeled. So it's really easy to be organized that way.
As, like, disinfected or
soiled. And then in the bags, like in our duffel bags, I would always make sure everything was, like, perfectly neat when I packed up things, so it would be easier to
like
take
your
it
perm
out.
rods, make sure they're all nice and
together,
neat. Combs.
Everything's clean, which is the next one.
And that brings us to be sanitized.
Yes, it's so disgusting. You guys, like, if you just think about it, like, if you use a comb on one person and you're going to use it on another person without disinfecting it, it's gross. Like, how would you feel if you had a stranger's hair on your hair?
Yeah.
And you don't know what's inside their scalp or on their scalp.
Quartz. Use the quantumonium compound, whatever.
Yeah.
Just clean your brushes, clean everything you use.
So
always
important.
Take the hair off of your brushes, out of your kit, out of your boxes. Always just be sanitized, because if State Board walks in, you'll never know if you're going to get fined or anything. And
they would walk into our teachers would do random, like, kit checks. So they'd walk around, they'd lift up our boxes to see if there's, like, any hair on the bottom of the boxes.
And if it was bad, guess what?
Yeah.
Clock out.
And it's even
Go
like
home.
The same thing after you get out. Like, I just did a wedding, and I haven't used my stuff in a while, and I cleaned everything. So they all had nice new combs and brushes. The next one is clean your kit weekly.
So sanitize all your stuff. Take out all the hair.
Yeah, like, you take a vacuum to it inside.
Like, inside your big bag.
Because hair gets in there. Like, it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. Next is...
Don't get on your teacher's bad
oh
side.
my gosh. We can both... Oh, God. So just stay on your teacher's good side, because
Because
they
help
you out
you.
for literally anything.
They help you so much.
They do.
If you find a teacher that is amazing and is nice to you, stand by her. If she gives you advice, take it. And if it's something critical about your work that you were so happy with and she tells you something that you can do better, listen to it.
Don't get
mad. Don't give attitude. Listen to it because
she knows what she's talking
about. They've been in the business
yeah.
for how long, and they went to school and they've worked on clients. They know what they're talking about. So honestly, listen to their advice and take it because you're going to need it and you're going to want it and you're going to appreciate it when you get out of school. Because I know if when I was in school, sometimes I got mad. I will not lie. I have a little temper. So I would be like, man, screw her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's old and this is a new trend. No. I got out of school and I realized she was right. So
the next one is be well groomed and look your part.
The part.
We understand that you get lazy, especially having to be there all that time.
It's okay. It's one thing for client days, but
yeah.
Okay, if you're doing clients, this is what we're talking about.
Yes.
On the days that you're not doing clients and it's just book work,
we'd all not
right.
have any makeup on. Our hair would be up. We didn't look the part because we weren't seeing clients.
We're talking about them client days.
But yeah, being on clinic floor, you want to make sure you look professional.
Your appearance is everything.
Oh yeah, because they're not look at you.
They're not gonna want to go to somebody who has some crazy hair or something ugly, ugly toned. If you have blue hair and it's all faded and nasty, they're not gonna want to go to you. If your makeup's crazy, looking your makeup's not looking nice and professional, they're not going to want to go to you.
Because they're going to be like, okay, if she can't even look
good on herself,
what is she going to do to me?
She made me look cray-cray. So, look the part.
Yes.
Please, be well groomed. Next, watch YouTube for other education videos. You could follow, I know Sam Villa. I follow him, and he has some nice cutting techniques, nice blowout. Yeah, Guy Tang for color.
Amazing on color.
Oh my gosh. And then, behind the chair, all those confessions of a hairstylist, she's pretty good at, braids and everything.
I personally stay away from, people that don't know what they're talking about, don't have a license and stuff, because they haven't gone through schooling, and
it's not professional and stuff.
But I go for Guy Tang behind the chair and that kind of stuff because they've been through it and they know what they're talking about. Their license.
And it's honestly, it's more further education. It's very educational and it's good to know because you could also use those techniques. If you don't want to try their techniques, buy doll heads. So you could try the techniques on the doll heads before the client.
Hairstyling is completely different. Go ahead and watch someone that's not licensed because hairstyling, anybody can do that.
And that's why you find a friend.
We're talking about cutting and coloring and even perming and that kind of other stuff.
That do on a doll head.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's hairstyles, braids and stuff, find a friend who has some long hair who will let you play with them. She plays with me all the time.
Yeah. And the next is don't be scared to make mistakes. Lindsey makes lots of mistakes.
In school is where you need to make your mistakes.
Yes.
You have people there helping you, teachers watching you, and friends that could help you. Yeah. That's the place where you need to make mistakes.
And you're doing it on a doll head. That doll head is
fine.
Not gonna scream and cry.
Fine. Yes. So make your don't be scared to make mistakes at school. Make your mistakes. And even when you get out into the salon, you still might make some mistakes. But you also do have coworkers around you and more educational stuff that you can do to help you.
Yeah. And
it's
then
awesome.
If you're working on an actual client, hopefully they have the mindset going in, these are students and it's not going to be perfect.
I don't know if this is at every school, but at our school they used to make them sign a waiver saying you're working on a student, you can't sue and stuff. So they obviously need the mindset that you're going on a student.
Yes.
So.
I had one client. She was so nice. We used to have student teachers that would help us. Will try to help us, and a lot of them it was horrible. But there was one, and she told me a completely wrong way of how to cut this girl's hair, how she wanted. And her hair, ended up being so much shorter than she wanted. And she was so understanding. She goes, it's no problem. I understand you guys are students, you guys are learning, and it wasn't your fault to begin with.
Let's tell them a story about your doll head real quick. So let's talk about this story. So how she was saying about the student teachers, we had to do a project that was pretty much worth our entire grade for our D semester. That was our second to last semester. Lindsey, and I was helping her with it, was trying to make her doll head platinum blonde for a fairy project.
Theme. Mm-hmm. So I thought, like kind of like Tinkerbell. Like platinum blonde hair. Like
with the cute little updo. So we were bleaching it, and we did it a few times, and this student teacher comes up, oh, why don't you use heat on it? And we were like looking at each other like...
We even like both second guessed it, but she kept like
She kept insisting.
And we're like,
use
okay,
heat.
so we put
She
it
said
in.
put it in the dryer for like 15 minutes. We put it in. Somebody put it to high heat. It started smoking and the hair fell out.
Yeah, it was
and
literally like
she was so upset. I wanted to beat up the student.
Like I was
teacher.
crying. Like this doll head was not cheap. Like it was
it was like $100 doll head, and the hair like was legit like the hair on my head.
And like I honestly
long and thick.
I was just gonna go home because I was so upset and I was crying. Like this is an important
horrible.
grade, and the vision, like I'm such a perfectionist, so when I get a vision in my head, like that's exactly what I wanted, and when it was just ruined.
We hated that.
And luckily, the teacher that we had, she was amazing. She goes, Lindsey, like it's gonna be fine. Like, you can still do things with this, and I got 100% on it.
She got a good grade.
And I was still able to, It was pretty light too. It was platinum.
It was platinum, but it wasn't as like much as she wanted. But
I kind of wanted a gray tone to it, but it was just like platinum blonde.
We ended up saving it, so she did use it, and she got 100. But let's just say we hated that.
Oh my god,
teacher,
I was so
and
mad.
We gave her so much
attitude. She came back around trying to talk to us again, and I told her legit to go away. I was like, "Can you please just leave and leave me alone?"
It was funny. She was like,
"Yeah,"
and we were like.
I just couldn't, it was just horrible. And after that, I think that's when they kind of, told them to stop.
Yeah, after that, when we were, all upset about her doll head and stuff, because it was very traumatizing and just, they were horrible.
Yeah.
But, the teachers told them to, not give us so much advice and just to observe. Because, honestly, they're there just to observe. And observe the teachers mainly. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to, help us out. And it's just,
it was horrible. It was horrific. So
we already kind of covered that, no?
Yeah, the next one that we wrote down is stay away from drama.
But we already covered that. The next one is toughen up your weakest areas. Mm-hmm. If you're weak on perms, on wrapping perms, on your extra days, wrap perms and wrap perms and wrap perms. If you're bad with color, get some more doll heads and color to where you don't feel like it's so weak for you that you don't want to do it, and that's
my problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem with color. Mm-hmm. I'm not a colorist.
And I've made her practice. We've practiced on my head a few times. Yeah.
It was a long process.
Yeah. So just honestly, if you have weak areas, ask a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. If you're struggling with something, ask questions.
Yeah, I'm not a question asker.
No, she's very quiet, so she'd ask me, and if I didn't understand, I'd be the one asking the question. But honestly, if you need to ask a stupid question, ask a stupid question. If you really don't get something, ask, because the worst you can do is just they'll have to repeat it, And it's good because it's for your education, nobody else's.
Yep, you're in there for you. And the next one is don't limit yourself. So what I meant by this was kind of if you're going in and you're terrified, because there are some girls and they have never seen black hair before, how it's kinky and really, really curly, and they're terrified. And that's what I mean by don't limit yourself. Learn that kind of stuff. But you want to expand. You want to know how to do extensions. You want to know how to do everything, so that if a client comes to you and asks you to do it, you can't
turn them down or send them somewhere else.
And that's money that you're losing if you do. So
that's also about the further education, guys. Mm-hmm. When you get out and if you go into a salon, they should have educational classes. You could talk to Salon Centric, Cosmoprof, find reps for color brands that will give you further education, and you could find some weave classes, some coloring classes. That's exactly what I'm saying about the education. Yeah. You're going to need it, and you're going to want it.
And if that salon you're at doesn't have that education, then
that's not where you should be at.
Yeah, you shouldn't be there, or you should step up and try to
say, we need some education.
And try to just get it yourself, because clearly that salon owner isn't doing a good job.
Mm-hmm. And also with the don't limit yourself thing, if you go into cosmetology saying, oh, I'm never going to color my hair, Wrong.
It's a lie.
I'm never gonna cut my hair. Wrong. Lindsay had long hair. Look at
me
it now.
I have
I'm
short
blonde.
hair.
And I said I'm never going dark. I went dark.
Yeah.
Went back light.
I said I would never color my hair either, and we
And
put
she did.
purple hair color.
She had a purple ombre, black to purple ombre, and it was awesome. So honestly, don't be scared to try new things. Broaden your horizon. That's what I was trying to think of it. We were trying to think. Yeah, it's just whatever. But anyway. Broaden your horizon, guys. Like, don't be scared. That is the number one thing about cosmetology school. Like, don't be scared. I mean, that's it. Like, just, guys, have fun and don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to learn. It's awesome. We loved going to cosmetology school. It was like one of the hardest, most stressful, but funnest, best years of our life.
Yeah, like looking back now, like I miss it so much in the moment. Like we were just like,
she saw me every day. Just kidding. She lives down the street from me. She still does.
We'd just be like, is this over? Like, is this year over?
Yeah, every day would be like, is today over yet? Is it 4:30
But then,
yet?
like, we look at back now and we're like, oh, we miss just, like, clinic floor days, just hanging out and talking while we're doing our doll heads or anybody else's hair. And,
we always used to have to sit in alphabetical order, so Lindsay was always in the front and I was always in the back. And then our other friend was always in the middle. Yeah. But for clinic floor days, we got to switch around our seats and sit right next to each other. So it was awesome. We were the loudest. They'd play music sometimes, and we'd just be sitting there singing. Like, our clients loved us because we were so happy, bright, and
it
we
wasn't
were just
like
full of energy.
Yeah, and it wasn't like we would have a client, and it wasn't that we would just focus on that because we bring all three of us into the whole conversation. You know, like it was just all of them. Like Ellie had this one amazing client.
Oh,
she's friends with us on Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah.
She's so cute.
She's so cute.
But she was like crying on our last day. She goes, I don't want you guys to leave, just because like we all like bonded.
It was so sad. She was crying. We were like, stop.
Yeah. So we're gonna make another video about state board because I think both of us have different experiences, so that would be kind of fun. And I'm sure people probably search on YouTube, you know,
state board advice. State board advice. So look out for that video.
Yeah, we should do that.
Hopefully coming soon. LOL. I'm just kidding. LOL. All right, guys. I hope you liked our advice. I mean, we probably didn't cover like everything, but we did cover most things that we wanted to hear, and what we took from our experience in cosmetology school.
I feel like we did have a pretty good experience to be even doing this video because we went to such a strict school. Yeah, like if you ask people that know about our school out in our community, like they would tell you like that is strict, and it's one of the best schools. It is. We have one of the highest state board passing rates. May I like to add? We do. but yeah. I think it's definitely, like, how our experience is probably different than how somebody maybe at Marinello or Paul Mitchell's was. So maybe it'll actually get you even more prepared than you actually need to be if you're going to one of those schools. Because I know it is different. But it's really different. How, like, the strictness and everything. But literally all the advice should still be the same. Oh, yeah. Definitely. So, guys, I hope you really liked our video. Subscribe, like, comment. All that fun stuff so you can keep watching us and our beautiful faces. Because, and all right, guys. Know what to say. We will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching.